All right, so it looks like my sound was off, so I'm going to have to start all over again. So I apologize about that. All right, so welcome everybody. Hello, good evening, and happy Resurrection Day. All right, so this is Twisha Christian. I'm also, my name is Julius Thompson. I am the creator and writer of the Grigori Project. All right, so everything that I share with you today, always do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor or currency expert by any means. I just, I report what I see, you see, I see what I see, you see what you see. All right, so just make sure you always do your own research. So I'm going to get into a couple of Kim Clement's prophecies and Hank Kunneman's prophecies. All right, so there's some things that I saw that's been happening and developing over the last week, and I think that is important, right? So I'm going to get into before I play Hank Kunneman's video, I'm going to get into a couple of Kim Clement's prophecies. So just give me one moment. Oh wow, brother. Oh wow, brother. Thank you very much for that. Currency 365 just popped in and gave a $100 blessing. That is amazing. Thank you very much, Johnny. I appreciate that. You really helped me, encourage me to do these videos and keep it moving. And I hope that I have brought you some a different perspective on things. Amen, amen, amen. Wow, I'm just blown away today just with all the blessings that have come in, well, just over the last couple days. And you guys have really done a lot to support this channel and to support the projects and everything that we're doing. All right, so the first thing I do want to get into, right, and this is the Kim Clement prophecies, and this deals with what I've discussed about Mr. E. All right, and as you already know, Matt Gaetz, he's Republican. He's gotten into a little bit of trouble, and I believe this is going to lead into something else. So I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of this prophecy. I just lost my spot here. Let's see. Okay, all right, so here's one prophecy from June 14th, 2014. All right, and this has to deal with politics, the Democrats and the Republican Party. And it's one of the reasons why we can't always identify ourselves with that, because if you believe in Kim Clement, you believe in his prophecies, then you're going to pay attention to what's really kind of going on in politics and not really identify yourself, especially with everything that's coming down the line. All right. Says here, however, there is an uncovering of great evil, and I will start from the top. I have shaken the Democrats, and I will shake the Republicans even more. But remember these tremors, and when these tumultuous moments happen, Summer says, I will take it so the fall can do its work in America. All right. One of the things that that's going to really shake these parties, and we all know who Mr. E is, and some of those things, revelations, may not be connected necessarily to Republican Matt Gaetz, and I'll get into him in a minute, but it also shows what God is doing within the political parties, right? So there's some things that are going to happen with the Democrats and the Republicans even more. All right, here we go again with another prophecy that comes out of December 31st, 2014. Right, and see, this is all leading to something, because what I'm getting ready to show you dealing with Hank Kunneman and then what's going on with one of the Republican leaders. Right, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. As I saw these different flags, the Spirit of God said to me, there shall be a revelation that shall bring the United Nations to a place of dismay and humiliation. I shall say, this next year I shall deal with corrupt leaders, even in the United States of America, and there shall be shining of lights that will come from a people that will say, we are dissatisfied with the Republicans, and we are dissatisfied with the Democrats. There is a new party that has arisen, and shall come forth and capture the hearts of the young people. And then to crown it all, I will confound science. Right? Okay, so there again, we have another prophecy dealing with the Republicans and the Democrats and the whole political system. Right, I got one more that I'm going to read, and then I'm going to get into the Hank Kunneman prophecy. This prophecy does come from February 22nd, 2014. Okay. There are highly embarrassing moments that are about to occur for many, many politicians in this nation. There will be shaking among the Democrats in the upcoming elections, but unsettling for the Republicans. Why is God doing this? I am dissatisfied. God has said, I am dissatisfied with what emerges from both parties. Right? So again, we have another prophecy. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play this Hank Kunneman, and just listen for a couple minutes as I play this.
You forget what I said when I said that there is a revolution that is upon you, United States.
Can you guys hear the video? I want to make sure that you guys can hear the video.
Upon those who've had to endure a harsh season. But the harsh season, says the Spirit of God, is coming to a close. You say, how can a harsh season come to a close when it looks as though that things are getting darker? Did you forget what I said when I said that there is a revolution that is upon you, United States? And it is the revolution of my light that overcomes darkness. And my light shall prevail. My truth shall prevail. My justice shall prevail. My righteousness shall prevail. And I shall do something very soon, for it has already begun. Do not say, God, when shall you act? God, when shall you move? I have already begun, and it is in process. But it shall accumulate. It shall build. And evidence and the information that is about to come, and not just be revealed to you, United States, but shall be revealed to the world. The media will say this is misinformation, this is conspiracy, but God said,
hey guys, so we're in trading.
Oh wow, they cut to a commercial in that.
I want to show you how easy it is to get stuff.
Listen, the spirit of truth shall prevail in this time, and so shall the evidence, and the things that have been done in secret shall come to the top, and the light shall expose the darkness and the dark deeds. This is the time that I'm speaking of, says the living God. It is not the time of darkness. It is not the time of the end of all.
Okay, so Hank Kunneman talks about this revelation that is coming forth, right? And there's denial. The media is going to get involved and say that it's all a conspiracy. But I believe this all leads back to Mr. E. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this up right now. Okay. All right. Several days ago, Representative Matt Gaetz denies allegation, claims he's a victim of extortion. All right. And so there is some allegations that deal with underage girls, right? So if you, over the last 4 or 5 days, he's been on Twitter and he is basically denying the charges, right? So before all this, when he first came out and was denying all this, right, he was saying that he was part of a plot. And, you know, we don't know the total or what the end or what's actually going to be released, but it seems like this is getting ready to really snowball against him. If some of you might know, exactly what is going on. So if you guys don't know, you start from the beginning where he says here on April the 1st, the allegations against me are false. The extortion of my family by a former DOJ official is real. DOJ has the tapes. Please release them. Right. But as time has gone on, a lot of things have more and more things keep coming out. Right. So to where it's starting to look like they've been able to trace payments. Other members of Congress have said that he's made, you know, some weird statements and text messages. And I guess he apparently may have been using Cash App, right? You can see Fox News. I'm not even going to say those names because I don't want this video dinged for anything. But you can see some of the headlines that deal with this representative, right? And, you know, for me, you know, people could do what they want to do with their own lives, but when you start hurting and getting involved with underage girls and doing all that stuff and paying them to come across state lines, that's completely different. And I'm not sitting here wanting to judge what he does in his personal life, but when you start to affect children and teenagers and all that, and that really bothers me. And so we know that at some point, according to Clement, a lot of these different things with these politicians are going to come out. And so I think right now they are attacking him. But this is the thing, that when all these other allegations or revelations about Mr. E comes out, you know, this could lead to some of those other things being discussed and released dealing with Mr. E, right? I'm pretty sure he knows a lot of people that are involved in doing the same thing, if he is, right? But I think these are going to be embarrassing moments because they're claiming that there are photographs and all kind of text messages and all kind of crazy things, right? So this is a shaking for the Republicans because this guy did stand up for President Trump during that time period, right? He was a staunch supporter, everything about the elections. he really, really fought for the president. But little did he know that that same administration was also investigating him as well, because he was actually being, the investigation started, I think about 2 or 3 weeks before President Trump had, before Biden was going to take over, right? So I think that that some of this stuff could lead to at least the exposure that's going to lead up to Mr. E. Oh wow, okay, we got let's see, we got Whack-A-Cat, $20. Thank you very much. Thank you, Brother Julius. You've been a real blessing. Happy Resurrection Day. So thank you guys very much for the support. All right, so let's see what are your comments. About 4 other prophets are saying the same thing, except one is it was the Spirit of God that Trump will change the nation. I believe that time is coming, especially with the 2 presidents' prophecies. We're still really looking forward to that, and I think maybe part of this has to do with it. Now look what they're doing with the governor of New York, right? And how they didn't take him down during the whole pandemic, but now they have all these different allegations of all these different women, and they are really trying to force him to step down. Well, okay, so you could just go and look and see all these different people, and the left is really trying to take it down. They don't want him there for whatever reason. I mean, they have the media on their side, and surprisingly, they really want this person gone for whatever reason. But all these different women, they've been around for a very long time, and they've been making these claims for a long time. And so really it's up to, the media is supposed to investigate and let the people know what was going on, but they actually did a lot of covering up for them. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play another small clip from Hank Kunneman. In this particular prophecy, he does talk about 2 unusual events will happen in one day, right? And he talks about the season of removal. So I just want you guys to hear a little bit about it. But it was on March 21st, 2021. So if you guys want to go and see the whole video, you just look that up there.
2021. There shall be, and there will be continual victory.
Managing your money has typically been complicated, time-consuming, and costly, but you deserve better. M1 is
victories. And yes, there will be some fights, and I speak about spiritual fights, but there will also be that which they will try to resist, and they'll try to cover up what I'm going to continue to reveal and to expose. But God says they are kicking against me now. Well, lift up your hands unto God. We say every word shall come to pass as you have proclaimed, O God. Something very unusual will happen. Mark it down. Where you will see that God did something in a day. And there will be a significant event that will go to, thank you, Lord. There will be 2 specific events that will happen in one day. One will happen in the morning, and one will happen in the evening just before the turning of another day. And you will say, look at these 2 significant events that have happened in one day. And God says, yeah. And when you see this, you will understand that I am breaking off the reproach, the iniquity, the plan, and the hold of the enemy in one day. And you'll see it in your morning, and you'll see it in your evening, and it shall make up one day. But it shall be a sign of the deliverance that I am bringing upon the nation, but not just you, United States, but for the nations of the earth, says the living God. Come on, shout!
Okay, so he's talking about there, he's again talking about the uncovering, and I think he's really, that really deals with a lot of what's going on with Mr. E and people that are like him, and they deal with these politicians and CEOs and all that. But I don't want to talk too much about that because, you know, YouTube doesn't like that very much, and it's going to be a very sensitive subject, especially when that time comes. So in Hank Kunneman, so something is brewing with all this. You got everything that's going on with Cuomo, and then you have everything that is going on with Matt Gaetz, and even up to, let's see if see what he's still talking about. So we don't really know yet. So he's still on the defense mode. So we should reserve our judgment on this particular situation until it comes out. And I remember Clement said the springtime. So we're in one of my videos I discussed in one of his prophecies that these things will be coming out in the spring. And so anytime that I do talk about a Clement prophecy, when he says spring, fall, winter, we haven't seen that prophecy come to pass yet. It is like it in alert, right? So we're in the spring. Are we going to see a lot of this uncovering with all those things that were going on with Mr. E and those that are like him? And so that all does remain to be seen. And I hope that it is this year. And a lot of it does deal with the removal of power, removing those who have been in there for a long time that are corrupt or allow corruption to go on. So that is something that I believe that always had to be done before the Dinar revaluation, right? There's a lot of people that are in power that don't want a new system. They don't want a revaluation. They don't want to see poor people or middle class people, right? Or even wealthier people get wealthier, right? They want to see, not even say wealthier people, but people who might make a lot of money, but they're not millionaires. They don't want any of those people to be successful, and they want to take the money that you earn through taxes, through the stock markets, and so many other avenues on how they actually take from you. Okay. And if you guys, while I am talking, if you guys do have questions, go ahead and, you know, ask them, and I will go back through once I get finished, or if it's something that's related to what I'm talking about, then I will answer that question if I can. All right, so enough with that part. So the next thing I do want to discuss, and this deals with the meeting that's going to be coming up with Iraq, and then you have also what's going on with Iran, right? The sanctions, they're talking about meeting again. I'm getting ready to pull that up here. So U.S. and Iran agreed to indirect talks on returning to a nuclear deal. The countries will negotiate next week through the intermediaries in Vienna to try to bring both back into compliance with the 2015 nuclear agreement. Right after weeks of failed starts and back-channel exchanges, Iran and the United States will next week in Vienna begin exchanging ideas about how to restore the 2015 nuclear deal. Initially, though, there will be no direct talks between the two countries, officials in Europe and the United States said on Friday. Okay, restoring the nuclear agreement would be a major step nearly 3 years after President Donald Trump scrapped it and perhaps begin a thaw in the frozen hostility between the two countries. All right, so here we go. And this does deal with a Clement prophecy, and I will pull that up. Wrong one. This prophecy comes from August 8, 2015. And folks, you know, you guys have heard this prophecy over and over and over again. And let's see here. Where's this thing will not pull up correctly. Okay, here we go. July 18, 2015. We've heard this one. He talks about the break in the financial system in the Middle East. So I'll just read it really quick. Just this part of it that deals with Iran. So, you know, he's talking about the dinar revaluation, right? There shall be a break in the financial system in the Middle East, the dinar. People will question why now? And God said, when things seem at their worst, I shall bring it forth and free them up, right? There shall be a prosperity in a place where you least expect it. The prayers of my people in Iran and my Christian people that have come forth in Iraq and from Palestine, I will hear their prayers and I will do something marvelous that will affect this nation, right? And this is that kind of deals with that whole thing with Iran and what, you know, some of us theorize, right, that Iran, what I'm getting ready to say here in this next part, you put your hand in the hand of Iran. I say to you, I will remove the hand of Iran out of the hand of Iran, says the Lord, and I will free up my people, for the promises, yes and amen. All right, so some of us theorize that the sanctions and this whole Iran deal, having the sanctions removed, right, and then Iran getting back into the nuclear deal in the United States, but also releasing the sanctions. Now, of course, Iran, in this particular article, says Iran opposes any step-by-step easing of U.S. sanctions, right? They just want them to lift all the sanctions all at once, right? And of course, it just says here, the Iran foreign minister spokesman said that Iran will stick to its stance and has been clearly stated many times that there must be immediate sanctions relief for there to be any progress in nuclear negotiations. Okay, the definitive policy of the Islamic Republic of Iran is the lifting of all U.S. sanctions, whether those which Trump reimposed after withdrawing or those he initiated, right, as well as those sanctions imposed under any other heading. So Iran they just want all the sanctions lifted up all at the same time. So there's going to be probably multiple, the way I look at the dinar revaluation, and we look at every time that he does talk about the dinar, is that there are events that are surrounding this revaluation. And that one there with Iran, I believe that it's very important. So we're seeing that take place. But also at the same time, right? At the same time, when things seem that they're at their worst, right? We also talk about that there's a theory that that the Dow will also be around 20,000, right, when this takes place, or it'll close at 20,000. Even though we've seen it go back and forth, there is a connection between the Dow and the dinar. Yeah, we don't really know what the you know, I mean, officially we don't know what the rate is, and of course, this has been discussed by me. This has been discussed by Currency 365 on multiple occasions about coming out 1-to-1 and why they would come out 1-to-1, and why it would be better for them, at least in the beginning, to come out at 1-to-1. Okay, Misty asks, who is Mr. E? Mr. E is Epstein. And I'm only going to say that one time on this video. So that this event that's going on with Iran, there's all these things that are going to come to a head, right? In surrounding the dinar revaluation, and also surrounding what's going on with the two presidents, and then you also have all these new technologies and new energy sources. There's a lot of things coming. Personally, out of the 8 wells, I think the dinar is going to be the first, one of the major wells. I believe the dinar is probably going to be the first one. And that's only because in order to get this economy really going the way it needs to, if they were to actually revalue many of the currencies across the world, right, that's going to jumpstart this economy in the way that it needs to. And you're going to put wealth into the people. I mean, you're going to give wealth into the hands of the people, right? Poor people, middle class people, wealthy people. And it's just going to really cause this economy to explode. Yeah, Hank Kunneman did hire, what is his name? I can't even think of his name, the drummer, right? He's been off that show, he was on that show so much, and he spoke a lot, and I haven't really heard him speak hardly at all, at least for a while. Yeah, and that's the thing. Let me see. PK, you say Kim said Hank Kunneman will take over for him and carry his mantle. Yeah, in a way, if you do notice that Hank Kunneman and Kim Clement, they do share a lot of the same prophetic, and they're both different styles. And that's what I actually was thinking today, that actually Hank Kunneman is actually carrying on a lot of those things that he was saying, and he's giving a little bit more insight into those events, kind of even with the other prophets. There's several more out there that align with what Kim Clement is saying, and I kind of use, because Kim Clement has been around for so long, and he has everything. Mostly all of his prophecies are online, so you can look them up. Hank Kunneman, I don't know if he actually has them where, you know, you could go to a website and every time he makes a prophecy, you can go do the research. But I always use it, that's kind of like a backbone, and I use Kim Clement as kind of like a standard when I'm looking at other modern day prophets. Well, yeah, but the Democratic Party's finished after the mass arrest. Yeah, but so are the Republicans, though. You know, we got to keep that in mind. We're going to we're having a new political system, right? Because neither party really works for the people, works for the taxpayers of this country, and just, you know, who they really, with all the things that they have done and allowed to happen over the years. And it's really surprising that we basically still have these two parties in power. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. Simone asks, what are your thoughts, or how do you see the RV comes forth? Well, I've looked at this for a very long time. I've listened to Johnny Kersey 365 for years before I started making videos. And I think that things, as far as how it comes forth, especially before Kim Clement really started talking about the dinar, there's all these different events. And basically, I stick to what the prophets are saying, because like I said, I've listened to a lot of people who have been saying the RV has been around the corner, where it's going to be, in the next month or whatever. But none of them have been right. And I just showed in one of my last live streams where I talked about that same thing that they do in chat rooms. They have their guy, and they're giving dates, and they're giving rates, and they're saying that everything is being done in secret, but yet you get the picture. But everything that we discuss, I can give you theories, just like with the 20,000 Dow, right? We saw the Dow go past 20,000. We saw it come down under 20,000 and then pass back up 20,000. And it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, then why has the dinar revalued? Now we're looking at it. This hasn't happened for like the last few years, where when it was going back and forth, right? And that's where the thought came. Well, what if the Dow actually closes at 20,000? So when we see that, right? If we see the Dow close right at 20,000, well, that would be the sign, right? And that would be the trigger to trigger the currency reset, right? I don't know, but that's just a theory dealing with Kim Clement's prophecies. And so I think a lot of things are going to have to be bad. I think there's going to be military conflict. Kim Clement said when things seem at their worst, in some countries right now, like in Brazil and other places where people are literally starving, like things are really bad over there, right? And even in some places in the Middle East, it's really bad. Syria, it's really bad. So how bad does it really have to get, right, before the currency reset? How bad does it really have to get? And that's kind of the scary part, right? People have had dreams and visions. There's all types of news articles, the total collapse of the economy, right? And that's why I say, like, even with gold, right? If things get so bad to where you have to exchange your gold to eat, right? That's really, really bad. And there's all kind of scenarios that in a world like that, you might have $50 worth of gold and you want to exchange some food. But if he tells you, well, no, I want all your gold in order for you to eat, you're going to end up giving up all your gold, and then you're going to be starving a couple days later, right? So if it ever got that, if it really, really got that bad, I don't think it's going to get that bad. Kim Clement, in other prophecies that I've discussed, said that a system would be in place within one day, right? So in order for that to happen, they obviously have to be working on the system. And they have to have something in place. So when they do go to the new system, right, they're not like trying to pass all these different laws. They're not trying to get ready. These countries, the dinar, the Iraq, they are ready now, and they've been ready, and it's just a matter of the central bank. And I hope that, I do believe that that there's probably going to be a lot of there could be a lot of pressure, right, on the central bank of Iraq to do this, unless this is some type of less, like say the 20,000 Dow is some type of trigger. Yeah, I think with XRP, I think once the SEC settles with XRP. At least be careful in the very beginning, because you know what's going to happen, right? It's going to skyrocket, right? And when more than likely that if it does do the skyrocket, right, then you're going to have a lot of people taking profit too as well. So don't get stuck buying at the top, right? So just be careful of that. But I do think that I've always said XRP for a long time. I've always liked it, right? And I think that it should be up. It should be, in my opinion, right? This is just my opinion, in the way that I look at cryptocurrencies and the way that I studied it. It should be worth a lot more than what it is. I think at one time it was up to like almost $4 years ago, right? So we know its potential, right? And it should be running with some of the other bigger horses that are out there. Yeah, none of them, nobody, let me see here. Jerome Thomas says, one thing for sure is God revealed Republicans don't want the RV. No, neither party does. Especially the Democrats, what's her name, Judy, and she was one of Trump's picks for the Federal Reserve Board, right? And they actually questioned her on, on a gold back standard. And one of the Democrats said, well, we like this system the way that it is, right? We like the way it is, and we don't want it to change. And maybe I'll do a video on that. But when she was testifying, they said that they don't want to change the system. The system brings them wealth. It brings them in financial donations to their campaigns from companies, and large amounts of money from individuals to keep things the way they are going. All right, thank you, Apostle Lisa Graves, for the $10 donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your support. That is a blessing. Thank you very, very much. Okay, Danny Sauter says they intend to manage a float. Yeah, and that's that's the other thing, is that in the dreams that I had, right? And this is just me, so you don't have to believe anything that I'm saying, but in the dreams that I had, I saw a 1-to-1, a 3-to-1, a 5-to-1, and then back down from a 5-to-1 to a 3-to-1, right? So obviously that sounds like some type of float to me, or they're trying to make adjustments, right? So, and it almost sounds like it is like a float, right? Yeah, I don't really connect. Let's see, Xenopec, Easter President Trump resurrection. I don't connect. I don't try to connect holidays anymore, especially dealing with certain prophecies or even the Dinar revaluation, because we've heard it so much. This resurrection day is different because we're still under, all the pandemic rules. It's been a whole year, and things are still a mess. I mean, when you really look at everything, it really still is a mess, especially within the church. No church is perfect. No individual's perfect. We all have our shortfalls. We all have our shortcomings. But the way that the church is right now, and the way how they've actually responded to the pandemic, and you've seen all the different things that have come out about different churches where it deals with just all the craziness that's inside the church and the finances and all that. The church still has a long way to go from where I see it right now, right? And they really, as a whole, the church as a whole haven't really got themselves together. And I think you will start to see that come where churches will start doing the things that they are supposed to be doing. I've been a part of a lot of different churches, ministries, since I was, over the last 25 years. And not every pastor is perfect. I've seen pastors and apostles or evangelists have their own issues, right? And when in my case, I think I've been armor bearers to at least a total of 4 pastors in my life. And trust me, even ones that you think that there's nothing wrong, they have their issues, right? And that's why a lot of times they have people that can be their armor bearer, that they can trust and have somebody to pray with and deal with the issues that they have, right? Or sometimes in some cases you just know about their issues, and you kind of just still do your job along with the pastor, even though that he's got these certain issues. Yes, very exciting times. I'm glad we're coming out of the winter time. This winter to me was just brutal, and it kept a lot of, and we're already at home. And with the sun's coming out and it's getting warmer and warmer and warmer, I think a lot of people are really itching to get out. And I think we're going to see a lot of that. You're going to probably see a lot of confrontations because some people aren't wearing their masks and stuff like that. And, you saw what happened during spring break, right? All the students went down to Florida and they just went buck wild crazy. Dinar RI could be this Tuesday. Yeah, I don't believe that that's what Peter Roberts says. Dinar RI could be this Tuesday. I personally don't believe that at all. There's still a lot of other things that have to occur and have to happen, right? And we've discussed that. Okay, Essential Oils of Joy asks, can you please do a video of where to turn our currencies in? I'm concerned about what this will really look like. I think we'll just be able to turn our currencies into the bank. The banks are still going to be there. They are an important part of our daily lives, whether you are an individual or whether you are a business. I just think that the banks are going to be when Kim Clement said the banks were going to crash, I think that they will still function a lot in the same way, but I think they will also be restricted. So that part there, as far as how the banks will play a role, we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, whack. Yeah, that's what it says here. Okay. Okay, Mark Rogers says, been hearing these scenarios for years. When it doesn't happen, people say it's not time. I think, that's one of the reasons why we give different scenarios, is because so we can try to figure out when this thing is going to, at least around the time that it's going to take place, so we can put ourselves into position. I have shared many times that I think there have been opportunities when the Central Bank of Iraq did in 2014. They could have revalued, right? Everything was going good. Then they got taken over. Then they were taken over, right? A third of their country, and they were at war. So, but that was a time when they were getting ready to do something with their currency. Then after the most major conflicts, when Abadi was in office and they needed to start rebuilding their country, right? So we were thinking, right, there was the surrender and a revaluation is coming so that they can help rebuild their country. But it did not happen. Biden he lost the elections, and they've been putting all these different people in who cannot get the job done and who are there for the Iraqi people. One of the reasons why I don't believe that they're going to revalue in country is because then they're going to let the whole entire world know if they were to make a change within the country. They're going to let the whole world know that what they're getting ready to do, and then you're going to have all these people just going out and trying to order dinar or buy dinar. There's not going to be any. Kim Clement said nothing, and then sudden change, right? And it's going to affect the whole world. Captain says XRP could reach 20,000 in a 3-day bull run. I don't know. I look at Bitcoin and even some of the other coins that are out there. I think it's still going to take a long time before it does reach that point. That's just my opinion. Okay, Ron. Okay. Ron asks, is the 50,000 IQD bills okay to use? Yes, or to have or whatever. Yes, those are okay. Those are okay. I mean, it's just like any other denomination. In the 5, the 10, the 25. All right. Now, there is another thing that I want you guys to be aware of, and that deals with Facebook. All right. And Facebook, over 500 million Facebook account records leaked on hacking forum. Right. And I actually meant to bring this up in the very beginning of the video because I wanted you guys to be aware, and that this really deals along the lines with your phone number. And I think that it's probably going to end up being, this hack is going to be a lot bigger than what they are saying that it is. And it looks like over 106 countries, 32 million people in the United States, and there's like 330 million people in the United States. So it's not that many, but when you look at some of these other countries that were hit pretty hard, some of these countries, a lot of their people's data were exposed. So whether you are in the United States or out of the United States, your data might be out there, and they're actually either selling your data or using your data to create either financial accounts or social media accounts. And it says here, a database of the size containing the private information, such as phone numbers, of a lot of Facebook users will certainly lead to bad actors taking advantage of the data. So it kind of made me think that maybe that even, maybe I need to change my telephone number, because I know my telephone number is associated with Facebook. Right now, from what I can tell, there's no way for me to check that. And maybe that information, the media or somebody will put out an article that will allow us to search and see if our information was actually leaked. And that's not good, folks. So just be aware of that. And definitely around the dinar revaluation. Look, I've talked about security during the dinar revaluation, right? When the dinar revalues, what is going to happen is you're going to have people calling you. You're going to have people emailing you, right? And people scammers who have never heard about the dinar, once the dinar revalues, and then they say, oh, this is a situation that we might be able to take advantage of, right? So you will see those things. You will probably get calls saying that they're from the government and they want to ask you questions about your dinar, right? So that's going to be very important, especially after the dinar revaluation, because you don't want your information getting out there. You don't want people to take out loans in your name. You don't want people to create social media accounts in your name, right? So there's this here to me it's huge. When you look at it's just a mass amount of Facebook accounts. Did Dylan ask, was the XRP in Kim Clement's prophecies? I thought he said there was a number in it. Yeah, he said that there might be a number in it. So he was asking this question. I'm still getting used to the whole streaming thing and trying to show people's questions and when they give a donation and all that stuff to highlight that so you guys can see that what I am referring to. But Kim Clement did say that he might have seen a number, and I've addressed that. And so he wasn't really entirely too for sure. So, but there are other things surrounding that prophecy. And let me see, let me pull up my Webull. Okay, and I believe that the XLPI, so make sure that you guys pay attention to exactly what I'm saying, and that you should not buy this stock right now because it is going through a reverse split. And this is XLPI, right? Excel Plus International. It's a company that deals with waste to energy, right? And there's this whole breakdown of the Kunneman Prophecies and this particular company and the owner of the company. But the owner of the company has decided to go ahead and still do a reverse split. And so we have not seen that yet. It's a 1 to 1. It's a 1 to 100 or 100 to 1 reverse split, right? So if you were to buy right now, and even if they do that reverse split, then you would actually lose money on buying this stock right now. Now, if it goes to 0.005 or whatever, all I'm just saying is right now, all I'm holding off. I'm telling everybody to hold off on the stock until they go through the reverse split. Many times when a stock goes through a reverse split, a lot of times it goes down. I've seen stocks do 100 for 1, right? And so it'll jump up past that $1 for a few hours. And then over the next 2 weeks, it'll crash from that dollar all the way down to like 10 cents. So I've actually seen that happen on multiple occasions, right? So you have to be careful. If I'm just letting you know what the stock is, and to go ahead and just put it on your watch list, and we'll wait for the reverse split. Danny says Gonzaga won. Well, hey, you see this in Illinois? Well, it was a very, very embarrassing loss. Being the #1 seed in the nation, you win your first game, and then you lose your second game to a team that you should have never lost to. And some of those guys are even talking about going pro from Illinois. And then we just lost our freshman starter. He's transferring to another school. He was probably so embarrassed of the loss that he didn't want to be in the school anymore. And I think our center and a couple other players were talking about going pro, and that's the whole thing. If you can't even get past the second round, and and some of those guys are talking about going pro, you couldn't get past the second round. They could try out for the NBA, but they'll probably either be sitting on the bench and not starting anywhere. And that's just, my opinion. Illinois should have been in the Final Four, just at the very least. Okay. Passing through 888, twisted. I still hold to the Dow will come to 20,000 when the dinar comes to the time we wait. However, it will be Kim's context of the 20,000 was when it would be safe to buy the dinar. Yeah, I think as long as you use a registered broker, and it should be pretty safe now, and it's supposed to be a little bit cheaper to buy dinar. And I think I did some prices: safe dinar versus Exchange of America. So again, I don't believe Clement prophesied about XRP or any cryptocurrency. I think Clement did talk about investments and having an eagle eye, looking for opportunities, and that's what I believe that, like, the cryptocurrency market is. It's a place for opportunities. Now, it's not to say that Clement hasn't prophesied about cryptocurrency, right? He didn't say it specifically, but I have yet to find a prophecy that deals with any cryptocurrency or the cryptocurrency market itself specifically. All right, so come Monday, I will be looking at EEENF. That's in the OTC markets, right? This is an oil company out of Alaska. And they do, from what I've been told, they do have a lot of good news that is supposed to be coming out. Now, the stock was at 2 cents, not that just within the last 2 weeks. It shot up to like 8 cents, 9 cents or something like that. Now it's come back down. And just doing the research on this just yesterday, there's a lot of posts on social media, and there's a lot of posts like on Reddit concerning the stock. So you also too want to be careful and make sure that you are taking profits and that you are setting your stop losses once that stock has got up really to a certain point. So if you say, for instance, if you were to buy in at 6 cents and at the beginning of the day, let's say it does go up to 12, 15 cents over the next couple of days, make sure you have your stop losses in so it doesn't go all the way back down to your 6 cent mark where you actually bought in at. And also too, I think with Zion Oil and Gas, they haven't released a lot of news, and that's probably the best thing for them. I still think that the stock price still could go down a little bit more this week, but the markets when it comes to Zion Oil and Gas, I think it would be a lot different if they had actual revenue coming in. So even if the oil markets are up, doesn't mean that Zion Oil and Gas will. And sometimes Zion Oil and Gas works in the opposite ways. I've seen the stock market go way down, and then Zion Oil has a very good day. But I will be looking at next week and see if I can't get in any cheaper than the 59 cent mark. Yeah, okay. There you said Kim said a new energy. Yes, actually Kim said there was 5 new energy sources coming, 5. And for me, in as much as I've looked at all the Kim Clement prophecies, there's a couple that are specific, right? And then some of the other prophecies, he talks about a new energy source. And so we have to figure out which ones of the 5 that he's actually referring to and try to put it together. But that's a lot of work. And when I've tried that before, you know, it's not like there's a book I could go to and look at all of Kim Clement's prophecies. I actually have to print them all out and then try to put them all together and connect this prophecy with that prophecy. And that is very, very, very time consuming. Yeah. Okay, so lithium is the next gold. And that's where Brazil Minerals comes in. It's currently at just under the 2-cent mark, right? And I've showed this stock, and they've got a lot of news, right, over the last several months, right? Brazil Minerals expands its lithium footprint. Brazil Minerals common stock to be purchased by Triton Funds, right? So there was some 2 pretty good pieces of news in February and in March. Synchrotron. Okay. Let's see if there's any latest news dealing with Synchrotron. Of course, this is just a basic search. Google has not been as good as a search engine as it has in the past. They do a lot of restricting of your searches. You really have to kind of like to start getting into forums and stuff, and other places you have to go to like page 10 on the all before you really start getting into some things that you really are looking for. But this would be just, I'm just doing like a general search. To speed discovery, infrared microscopy goes off the grid. A highly efficient way to collect infrared microscopy data avoids the use of slow, grid-based raster scans, whatever that means here. Okay, in the Journal of Communications Biology, researchers from Caltech, UC Berkeley, and the Berkeley Synchrotron Infrared Structural Biology Imaging Program reported a more efficient way to collect high-dimensional infrared images where exact pixel contains rich physical and chemical information. With the new method, scans that would have taken up to 10 hours to complete can now be done in under an hour, potentially broadening the scope of biological spectromicroscopy to time-sensitive experiments. All right, so they are using synchrotron technology in microscopy, right? So it's going to take their scans that they're using for this particular, whatever they're researching, normally would take 10 hours. Now it's going to take under 1 hour. So, and when I see things like that, like this is a school, right? So there's no way to, if I dig further into it, I want to see if there's any companies that might be connected to this or might get connected to this later on. So synchrotron, when Kim Clement talked about synchrotron, it's not just one stock, and it's multiple, it's going to deal with probably just like the industry, and there might be multiple stocks that you will be able to get into. But synchrotron will be a part of, I mean, just the application of synchrotron. If you go back to the videos, you'll see its application is going to be widespread. And this is something they've been working on for a long time, but it's synchrotron technology is actually getting down to where it's really going to benefit the consumer as opposed to just scientists. Yeah, I know that other prophets have talked about like a currency reset, but they have generally spoken over it, right? And not very many details, as far as, in my opinion, detailed as Clement, right? As far as prophetic wise, because there's a lot of news articles that confirms that, you know, a new system, a system that uses gold, right, and a change in our financial system. So we've between me and Johnny and a few others, we've shown so many articles over the years. We know that this thing is coming, right? All right, DuckDuckGo. Ellen says, or not Ellen, Dylan. Yeah, I don't use DuckDuckGo is the same. It's, you might find a few extra things in there, but it's a lot of DuckDuckGo still hides a lot of the same information, right? So Google's very good. If you're looking for certain things dealing with certain subjects, they like to hide it. And DuckDuckGo does the same thing. I think the only thing that DuckDuckGo doesn't do really is this, you know, they're trying to hide more of your privacy, not necessarily trying to give you more information as far as your searches. Captain Cap says South and North Korea will become one country, and RV the currency, it will be strong. And that is one thing. I think that people have asked, well, you know, about investing in the Koreas. Well, it's very difficult, first of all, to get your hands on North Korean money. South Korean, I think that if those two countries combined, I would think that they would more than likely go with a South Korean won, and then maybe go to and use that as the national currency and just call it the Korean won, right? So, but that all remains to be seen. And you know, I don't know how much it's going to change in value. But I've always said this, right? And there's nothing wrong with buying other currencies. Some people have bought so much dinar, they're just sick and tired of buying dinar. They just want to start investing in other things. But you know, I believe that dinar is probably going to give you the best value in the currency reset. And for me, I'm taking that and gonna try to buy more Vietnamese dong and some of these other currencies, right? Because if I can get dinar, I will get dinar. But I think as we get closer, if dinar becomes unavailable at any moment, and I am ready to, you know, okay, maybe this week when I get paid, I'll buy like $100 worth of, you know, dinar. But then I go on the site and there's none available, then I would just go ahead and just buy some Vietnamese dong, right? Because you don't know when. Look how long it was before you couldn't even buy any Iraq dinar, right? I think it was months for some of these places. You couldn't get any in unless other people were trading it back in, right? So people who were giving up on the dinar revaluation, and they would just sell their currency back to the broker. Xenopec says Robin Bullock has awesome recent prophecy vids on his wealth transfer. Yeah, I've watched some of Robin Bullock's videos. sometimes it's hard to follow along. So I just try to look, if he does say something, I just see what other people are saying, what he says. Yeah, passing through 888 says, time consuming, yes, but worth it. Behold, I give a gift. Who among you are wise? XLPI. Yeah, some of this stuff, when you really get into studying modern day prophets, there's so much out there. Charlie Shamp has his prophecies online that you can go and look up, and it makes it a whole lot easier to research. Yeah. Okay, so that as far as that part, talking about what's going on with the U.S. and Iran, the talks, the sanctions, I believe that's leading to the fulfillment of some of Kim Clement's prophecies, dealing with possibly Matt Getz, dealing with that also too as well, dealing with Hank Kunneman and some of Kim Clement's prophecies. That's going to lead to revelations and people stepping down and maybe some arrests, and those people in power, right? Those people in power and being removed from that power, and not just here in the United States, but all over. Yes, the earth will shake and shake again, right? We're still looking for some of those earthquakes in one particular volcano eruption within the Kim Clement prophecies. You know, and then sometimes I do wonder whether or not if Kim Clement has any other prophecies that maybe that he's written down that they've never actually ever shared before. I'm not sure if anybody knows that if 100% of all of his work is online. It'd be very interesting to know whether or not, I'm sure he has like tons of notebooks and things like that where he may have written down a lot of things, but that would be interesting. And one of the things that I would like to see from the Kim Clement ministry is a book, right, that lists all of his prophecies all in a row. I think that would be very awesome. I think that could be very beneficial for the House of Destiny too, as well, because I would probably buy it, just because it has all the prophecies in it, and you can read it and you can study it and all that. Dylan says, I believe Zion Oil will find the largest oil field in the world. That's what will start the World War III. I'm not sure if it's exactly, I think there's going to, I think Saudi Arabia would probably feel more threatened in some of the other countries if Israel did come across, one of the largest oil fields. just kind of like the United States has the world has, the world's largest oil reserves, right? They got fields they can drill and dig. And when that was discovered, OPEC made its moves against the United States and Russia too as well, because they didn't want us to get that upstarted. Could you imagine? And we were doing that for a while. You guys just saw recently how the gas prices have gone up. Well, it's because you turned off the spigot here in the United States, and we're not doing any more. And that maybe still in some areas, in a lot of areas, they're not even allowed to drill anymore. I mean, they're not allowed to drill in places where maybe they were getting ready to drill, right? Any new drilling. And definitely we need our, and it doesn't make any sense, when, and I use this argument when they say, especially if you're on the liberal side, well, we don't want to damage our environment by drilling and pumping oil, right? Well, we have to get our oil from somewhere regardless. So whether or not if we're damaging our own country by pulling the oil out, well, other countries that we'll have to buy oil from again are damaging their country. So it doesn't really matter. If we need a certain amount of barrels of oil per day, regardless of where it comes from, it's going to have an effect on the environment no matter what. So we should be doing it here so we can provide jobs for Americans here, and America needs to be energy, self-sufficient in their energy. We are relying on the Saudi Arabians again. Let's see if I can pull that up. This is interesting. As the gas prices soar, Americans can blame Joe Biden. Right. Oh. Yeah, of course. They're always going to blame. It doesn't matter who the president is. They're going to blame the president with gas prices being high. They did it with Bush and Obama and everybody else. I think, but this time was a little bit different because, we actually got back down to, at least in one of the highest tax states in Illinois, we actually got down to a little bit less than $2 a gallon. Look at this. So, U.S. calls on Saudi Arabia to ensure supply of affordable energy. Well, we could do it from here, but he doesn't want to use the United States, right? OPEC to ease curbs from May after U.S. calls Saudi Arabia. So there we go. And so instead of us turning on our own, and just moving our oil industry here in the United States, instead of moving it forward, we want to continue to rely on foreign sources. Absolutely insane. Yeah, PK Bill. I have to look up that Charlie Shamp about cryptocurrency and take a look at that. Yeah, Kim Clement did talk about OPEC will break up eventually, right? It will come down. And of course, there's been over the last year, there's been a lot of strife between some of the OPEC nations, especially during the pandemic, because everybody needed money, right? But they wanted to restrict everything. And, a group like OPEC should never have as much control as they do. But, the politicians that we have voted for over the last 50 years, right, have allowed that to continue, right? Because we don't hold our politicians accountable. Well, one of the things about solar panels and all that, of course, if they're going to increase that, of course, it's going to be good for companies, or if you're invested in companies that are doing that, and depending on the type of solar panels, they're even putting these solar panels like technology in cars, right? So that you can, so you can keep the charge from the sun, as opposed to going to the gas station to charge your battery. All right, folks. So that's just about most of the news, at least that I wanted to discuss today. All right. So if you guys do have questions about anything that I have discussed, or if you have a question and wait for the next live, just hold on to it. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm still used to doing this and doing this live. Sometimes it's just, for me, it's just easier than trying to create a video and then trying to edit it when I could try to explain it on live. And with my work schedule and taking care of family members and all that, sometimes it's easy just to come on here and just start talking and just going over some of the articles that I found earlier. Right, so I will be doing this more, but I still have about 7 or 8 non-critical videos that I do still need to edit and get out there to you guys. And so we will be doing this a lot more, and hopefully on some of my days off, we can actually be on live in the morning when the stock market opens, right? Does anyone listen to Rumor Lux on Currency? I do not know who that is. Okay, well, it's got a lot of videos on here, and of course, looking at some of these videos, so that's, yeah, he's borderline. He's probably borderline. He's going to be just looking at some of the titles, and that's why I do not talk about certain subjects or mention certain people's names, because I've been dinged. I've been, where I couldn't post for a week, and then I've gotten emails from YouTube or Patreon because my video included some things that they didn't like to hear. And looks like he is really kind of talking about a lot of those same things. So I'm surprised that yeah, he's still going. I mean, he's got a lot of videos up, but some of the topics that I see, I wouldn't want to talk about. I wouldn't want to talk about half of those things that he's talking about anymore. Some of those things I did used to talk about, and but I don't talk about them anymore. Danny says, TC, I've been listening to you for 4 years. You come a long way. Yeah, it's come a long way. And I try to present the best information, different theories, try to look at things a different way. And not only that, and like I said, Currency 365 really helped me as far as to encourage me in making videos, especially in this subject, because it hasn't always been easy. Things have been up and down in making videos. There are times that I can't make videos for a week or two, especially when my dad was sick. There was I just didn't have time to do it. I would go to work, go take care of him, come home, and I would be tired, or my day off, I worked so hard, and then also spending all the hours doing other things, like with my dad. My day off, I might sleep in till 11 or 12 o'clock because I'm just trying to catch up on rest. So yes. And one of the other reasons why I also did want to do this was because of the Grigori project, right? It's a project that I've been working on, and eventually I do want to start making videos for my other channel. And this is my other channel, the Grigori, right? And I haven't spent a lot of time focused on making videos because I just haven't had the time. Eventually, I want to get over the characters and discussions and my experience in this industry. And maybe a lot of you don't know about like Japanese animation, but it's an area that God wants me to get into. And because it's so corrupt and so, I can't even say the word of some of the videos, well, some of the animation that comes out of Japan is so wicked, and there's no light there at all, and it's all controlled. And over the last couple of years, all the anime businesses have been combining, taking over each other, and it's very difficult. Back in 2014, it was a lot easier for me to get in contact with people within certain businesses concerning that. And I've shared some of those stories and testimonies flying out to California, what's involved in some of the contracts and just all the crazy stuff. But God wants me to do it a certain way and not to give control to anybody else. So if you guys have not subscribed to just, I know I'm not making any videos right at the moment, but if you guys please go subscribe to this eventually. I would like to go live on this channel, like to make more videos as we get closer to some of the financial breakthroughs that I have. I will be able to really work on this project because it does really mean a lot to me, because I put a lot of time, effort, energy, and finances into this thing, and it all deals with Genesis 6, right? Genesis 6 deals with the fallen angels, and so that's what the story is, and it's based off of that, right? But we go from the time period of before Noah's flood, right, at the beginning, and all the way, hopefully, through the prophetic future. So, and then hopefully we will go into the origin story, right? Before Lucifer fell and all that. Now, and of course, this animation is for adults. It's not to say that it's sexual in nature, but it does deal with the angels doing certain things, right? You don't have to show sex scenes and all that stuff in there to imply what's going on. But if you really want to know what happened before the flood, and you want to see a cool, project, you just go support it. But this will be a light to a lot of teenagers and kids, and because if you have a child right now that's 14 and under, and they watch anime, I could almost pretty much guarantee they've been exposed to the real wicked stuff, right? So hopefully this will bring a light, and people can see this project for what it is, right? We want to talk about the giants in the earth in those days, right? And why God really flooded the earth. And so, yeah, we've got videos on here, just some other things, some line testing scenes. And I really want to make the project itself, it will be violent because it was violent times. But a lot of people have been concerned that there's going to be sex and stuff in it, and there's not going to be. A lot of movies or shows can imply a lot of things without actually having to show it. So please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please go type in the Grigori and give that channel a subscribe, and eventually we'll get that back up and going again. Get it back and really going, right? As we move on with the global currency reset. You guys are going to witness this. You guys are going to see the progress. If you guys go back, you will see the progress of the project. We have a lot of the artwork that I do have on Deviantart is probably just maybe only about 2/3 of it, right? We have so much, but with everything going on, it's been really difficult to really push this project forward. And I've shared that we are trying to do the Grigori Legends, try to get like a 5-minute episode done. That's very expensive. But we will get there, though. We will get there. And you guys are going to see that. Yeah. Yeah, I try to stay away from dates and rates. I just try to give theories and alerts. Zion Oil and Gas. Okay, market. Okay, Zion Oil and Gas options. Anyone? Things not looking good. Well, right now Zion Oil is just in a. They're just in a different. They just have to strike oil. That's the first step. And hopefully, they're that well. They are digging now. Is profitable. Yeah, as just. Yeah, you're not going to need no 800 numbers that turn in no Zimbabwe or any other currency. And it's amazing that some of these newsletters are still pumping that stuff, and they're not held accountable. And a lot of people are going to get deceived from that, right? You're going to go to the bank, and that's it, right? If you want to send your dinars off to somebody else, right? Here, let me pull this. Let me pull this up here. You guys might get a kick out of this one. Right, here's what I call a dinar meme, right? Have you guys all seen this movie, this actor? If you guys know who this actor is, and if you've all seen this movie, right? This is how I have seen people react on social media, right? And people have been scammed this way, right? And he says here, he's answering the telephone, right? Or he's talking on the phone. And he says, I don't know who you are, but what's your address so I can send you my dinars, right? When I first saw that, I cracked up because this is how some people are. They want to give their dinars away, right? Because they think it's going to bring them extra blessings, or they think they're going to get an extra few pennies on their, a few extra pennies per dollar on their exchange. And they're just setting themselves up to be deceived. Yeah, like I said, I think it's just all going to be the banks. We'll be able to go into our bank. Most people that have actually had dreams and visions about this, they all were in a bank or exchanging in a bank. Banks are very important in part of our how we do our business. So, folks, I have to get up at 6:30 a.m. My time, which is now going on 11. So, a big shout out to everybody who did give currency 365, Johnny. Make sure that you guys, let's see, let me pull it up here. Okay, so big shout out to Currency 365. Thank you very much again for the $100 donation. Keep in mind, folks, I do get a lot of questions about cryptocurrency. So really, if you really want to get into in-depth and detail with that, I would be following his channel for sure, right? And then also, too, I'd like to thank Apostle Lisa Graves, who gave a donation of $10. See if I can find her. Okay, and then of course she has a page here. You could go check out her YouTube. She gave a donation, so you check that out. And then let's see, we got one. We had another donation. Okay. And I got one more person to feature here, so just give me one moment. I'm still trying to get used to this streaming program. I can't find everything that thought it'd be a lot easier to work with, but I just haven't gotten used to it yet. Okay, for some reason, it's not allowing me to pull up everybody who donated tonight. I cannot find that. I can't find that right at this moment here. So I'm still getting used to this. So shout out to those who did give, right? And it's really appreciated. So all the support links are down below in the description if you want to support this channel or you want to support the project. All that is a blessing and it is much appreciated. All right, folks, so that is it for tonight. I probably went over at least 49 minutes longer, only because I have to get up in the morning. So I really appreciate you guys' support. I will be posting the last Kamala Harris video, at least showing the prophecies concerning around her tomorrow, and then we'll continue to follow that whole entire situation. But I will make that video public, and some of the other videos I'll be working on to put on the Patreon all this week. Some of the videos I have not got a chance to get to yet. So once again, I thank you guys for all that you do, and I hope that I've brought you some relevant information or things to get you to think and kind of show of maybe where we are at in the dinar revaluation and the global currency reset. Thank you, Simone. Thank you, Apostle Lisa Grace. Thank you, Captain Cat. Thank you, Currency 365, Terry, PK Billion, Danny. Let's see. Terry. I don't even know how to say your name. Xenopet. BP, BK Billions. Passing through. Some of you guys, this is the first time that I've seen you guys in this chat. So that's very encouraging. Peter Roberts. So thank you guys again. I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream, and hopefully that we will see you Tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to go live tomorrow. It's a very busy day. I got a lot of cooking to do tomorrow at the job itself because it is Resurrection Day, and so the holidays are really, really busy, and it's like all hands on deck. And so since I'm part of the management team where I work at, it can be very strenuous around these times. So again, I thank you guys for your support, and God bless. Happy Resurrection Day. And with that being said, Twisted Christian out. Oh, and if you guys have not, we do have a watch group on the cell phone Telegram. So if you guys want to get into that, you'll have to, I'll go ahead and put the link down in the description after I get done with this. If you guys want to join the TC chat group, and I'm not always on it because I do work, but we do. There is a good group of people who do communicate, and when it's time, when we need to communicate, we communicate, and we need to research and be supportive. Everybody is there. So thanks again. God bless. Twisted Christian out.